how am I going to be surprised? It's a Scooby-Doo movie. I know that the janitor was the ghost the whole time.
But Brandon,
nothing surprises me in Scooby-Doo.
You don't know if this is the movie where Scooby actually dies of old age, like Shaggy's actor.
Welcome back to Nonsense Reviews. My name is Brandon Ellis.
My name is Scott Honigman.
Nice to meet you, Scott.
Oh, pleasure.
I'm Brandon.
I'll take the handshake.
There are actually 3 trailers that recently came out, Scott.
It's been trailers week here.
For kids or babies.
Like you said, there were 3 trailers that dropped this past week. We have the trailer for Scoob, this new Scooby-Doo animated movie coming out next year.
You know the drill, Scooby-Doo!
Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby.
We have the reimagining of Sonic, the original with the new design.
Let's blast through with Sonic speed! Okay! Alright!
Yeah, and we also have a new Spongebob movie to make a triumphant trilogy.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Is it that great of a trilogy? We'll answer that question. Is the Sonic redesign really all that great? We'll answer that question. And why is Scoob called Scoob and not just Scooby-Doo? We will not answer that question, but we will go on to that trailer. So we're going to go in alphabetical order and start with Scoob and just talk briefly about it. Now, before we begin, Scott, we need to prove that you're a true expert of Scooby-Doo and worthy of talking about this trailer, so people know that you mean business. So tell us your past history with Scooby-Doo.
Well, I have I'm very familiar with Scooby-Doo. I've seen the original series, not all of it, of course. I've seen a handful of the movies. I've seen A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. I've seen What's New Scooby-Doo. I haven't seen the latest one that looks like regular show or something on Cartoon Network. I haven't seen that one, but I'm very familiar. And the 2 live-action movies.
Right, yeah. I actually
Can't forget about those.
I saw them in theaters.
Me too.
I loved them, but I was a stupid little kid, so...
I saw one of them kind of recently. The first one.
Well,
disaster.
My experience, those movies, the original show, the later specials, and the meme. The meme,
the Shaggy.
This year, that Shaggy is this overpowered behemoth titan that should never be reckoned with unless you are Jesus Christ himself.
This can go 2 ways, punk. 1, you walk away. 2, I walk on your face.
So we're actually going to talk about not the meme of Shaggy, although we can go in for hours.
It's a kind of a dead meme at this point, but
the only thing dead is what you'll be if you mess with Shaggy, but I'd take that back. But
hope you didn't hear me.
But we're going to talk about Scoob.
Oh, it's about to start. You ready?
Ready. Maybe it's time we made our new movie.
Good idea, Scoob. But first we need a trailer.
I saved myself for you, Scott. I made sure I didn't see the trailer until I saw it with you so we could talk about it. So I've been waiting. I didn't know what to expect because I knew the icons. It had like a younger Shaggy, a younger Scooby. But what took me aback was you had the original, the older versions of Scooby and Shaggy. Then they flash back to the kids themselves as a kid and a puppy, respectively. And then they go back to being their older selves. And it's just kind of jarring. And I'm asking myself, what is this? The Days of Future Past for Scooby-Doo, where we go back to the older Scoob and the younger Scoob, and they got to deal with the aliens and the robots? I was confused.
Well, yeah, I can see how the trailer can confuse you a little bit. But
it's a baby movie. It shouldn't confuse me. I'm 21.
What I think is going on with this movie from the trailer is, I think that only a very small part of it will be like an origin story, and then they'll flash forward to them in modern day. Or what they'll do is throughout the movie they'll flash back.
Maybe
back to
it didn't seem very clear in the trailer.
No, and I think to an extent I think that's a good thing. It's not very clear because, then from a marketing perspective, it's like, oh, what's going on with this movie? Why is it like this? Then kind of makes you want to go out and see the movie more. I like how it didn't outright tell you exactly how the order is, because you still want to be surprised when you go in to see the movie.
How am I going to be surprised? It's a Scooby-Doo movie. I know that the janitor was the ghost the whole time.
But Brandon,
nothing surprises me in Scooby-Doo.
You don't know if this is the movie where Scooby actually dies of old age, like Shaggy's actor.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, Shaggy has a different voice. Now, everyone is familiar with Shaggy's voice, and if you weren't, you're alive now. It's 2019. You've seen the Shaggy meme, and he sounds like this. Scoob. Like Zoinks! That's how he sounds. In this, he sounds a little bit like that, but more like a normal version of it. He's a cartoon character. Should be a little exaggerated, but it's just like, hey man,
he sounds like
Shaggy.
He kind of sounds like a pretty bad Shaggy impression.
Yeah, but it's an official Scooby-Doo movie, so that's what's crazy. It's not even that good.
Well, whenever there's a new voice actor, we always have to take some time to adjust to it. But I think, as the movie goes on, we'll become more and more okay with it. We'll just learn to accept it. There's nothing we
should
can
just
do.
respect that Shaggy is a stoner and he doesn't try or care.
Something I want to talk about with... something that's why he passed away. He's smoking so much weed.
Don't smoke, kids. It's bad.
Something I want to talk about is the animation here.
Okay, that's important.
I think
animated
the animation... Who's the animation company? If you could quickly look up... For me, Brandon. Warner Brothers Animation.
I mean, that's like the whole thing that made Scooby-Doo in the first place.
I know.
Warner Brothers.
This is a completely different animation. All right, so
what do you think about the animation?
The animation itself, it's very smooth. It seems very smooth, very clean. It's almost like it looks a lot like some modern Pixar movies, like Coco a little bit. It looks like Toy Story.
Honey, it ain't Pixar quality.
It ain't Pixar quality, but
Pixar did not pick that up. But they did pick up Cars 2, so you know what? Maybe they don't have standards. But
hey, come on, it's just one bad movie out of like
then there's
17.
Cars 3, okay? There's going to be a Cars 4.
Is there actually going to be a Cars? No.
I think so.
Look it up. No, we'll do it later. But overall, this trailer, it gives you a little bit of a sense of who the characters are in Scooby-Doo if you don't know already. The animation looks smooth, looks solid, I'd say. Voice acting's pretty good. There's some jokes in the trailer that didn't really land, to be honest.
It's a kid's movie.
It's a kid's movie.
That's the excuse for any kid's movie.
But, obviously we can't say much about a movie just from the trailer alone.
We're just reviewing the trailer right now. So,
yeah.
All in all, with everything in mind, would you give it your nonsense seal of approval?
If nonsense is a bad thing...
So, probably not.
I mean, this was pretty... I'm not going to give it the nonsense seal of approval because there wasn't anything too strange or... Well, you know what? No, I am. It's a talking dog. I'm giving it the nonsense seal of approval. It's a talking dog.
We've seen this talking dog since when did the show come out? The 60s?
Yeah.
So we've seen him for years, and it seems like a very typical animated film for me personally. I think the dynamic of underage Scooby-Doo to
Are you saying that
to old man Scooby-Doo? I mean, dogs don't live that long. I don't know how else to describe it. Puppy Scooby-Doo to dog Scooby-Doo. My bad. I didn't mean to put it that way. It's interesting. If not, it was a little confusing for me, maybe because I'm dumb. So it's not terrible. It's not that bad, but it's not that great. So I can't really give it my nonsense seal of approval. So we're going to move on. Scooby-Doo is over. It's done with, even though that franchise will never die. But speaking of a franchise that will never die, we got to talk about the new Sonic trailer.
Why are you hiding out in my garage?
They're coming for me!
Mr. Dr. Robotnik, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to tell me where it is.
Wait! Don't hurt him!
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this trailer. I was really blown away to see what the animation team had done with the new Sonic.
Right.
After the entire internet complained about how he looked before.
I think it was back maybe in August, I think, when they released the first trailer.
No, it was further back than that. It must have been May or June.
Maybe. Yeah, so earlier on in the year, they released the original Sonic movie trailer. The animation was absolutely horrendous. Sonic had these big, furry, muscular legs. I mean, it makes sense for running, but he's a cartoon character. It shouldn't
And he
make
had
sense.
shoelaces. He had
shoelaces.
one of his shoelaces become untied and he trips.
He had no gloves on. He had this horrible, like, monkey face. Like it's Monkey Ball mixed with Sonic. He had these disgusting pearly white teeth.
And his face
Could
was
just bite
very
into you
small.
if he had rabies, God forbid. So it was a very, very horrid sight. But even looking past that, it just looked like a pretty generic movie. None of the jokes really landed, and all the effects weren't that impressive. The action looked very subpar.
It looked
So
very
all in all-
bleak. Like the whole setting too looked bleak.
Right. It didn't look like there was any style to it. And Sonic is all about style. Unless you talk about the game Sonic 06, then hold up, we don't talk about that game. So, yeah, back to this new trailer. They knew they were going to redesign Sonic based off the backlash. We didn't know what he would completely look like. And now, seeing what he looks like now, it's mind-boggling. He looks like the Sonic that I know and love, that fans know and love. He just looks so good. He looks more cartoony, but that's the point. That's Sonic.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
no one should complain about that.
Exactly.
I mean, Sonic is supposed to look like a cartoon. But I think we should really give props to the animators that probably worked overtime to make sure
Exactly.
that Sonic looked like
No-
Sonic.
Exactly. I think you said this before. No matter how good or bad the quality is, you got to give some brownie points to just that factor.
Yeah.
But speaking of quality, I have to say, I think they upped their game a bit. It looked more fun, more action-packed.
Yeah.
More of the I wouldn't say the jokes were hysterical most of the time. It was just more of
They were funny.
smile. I would smirk.
It's a
maybe
joyous
chuckle.
movie. It's like
Yeah,
it's a
it looks
it's a
cute.
heartfelt movie.
Yeah, it looks like, if not maybe a little generic, but it looks cute. But the thing that brings it over the edge to average to well above average is just Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik.
I just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk. Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them!
What a great choice for Dr. Robotnik.
I mean, you wouldn't think about that. He doesn't have the weight to him. He's not bald. Well, he may get there later in the movie. But he's so over the top and so zany that even if the script isn't that great, he's just automatically hysterical. So for that fact alone, I've been pumped for this movie. And the trailer is actually solid. Sonic looks great. The voice actor, I think his name is Ben Schwartz, which is funny because
We have a friend.
who does the graphic design for our podcast, he's also Ben Schwartz. Because Ben Schwartz is a part of this, and Ben Schwartz is a part of Nonsense News Nation, I gotta give this the Nonsense seal of approval.
We didn't even talk about Sonic's human friend in the movie. I forget.
Because
The
he's
actor's
forgettable. It's
Yeah, we don't even know it.
James Marsden.
That's
it took
his
me
name, James
a long
Marsden.
time to figure out. He was also in Hop,
Another movie.
another movie just like that. He was also in the original X-Men. He was Cyclops.
Oh yeah. Scott, right?
Yeah,
That's
like
the-
you. Your name
yeah,
is
this
Scott.
is me.
Wow. Scott's a common name.
And you gave it the nonsense seal of approval. I will give it the nonsense seal of approval as well. They've done a great job turning it around from the original trailer. Jim Carrey is hysterical. It just seems like a fun movie, and I like the animations with him just running around and everything. Just
By the Great Wall of China. That was actually kind of a little bit
it
exciting.
was fun. It was
Not super realistic, but it's a Sonic movie.
though this movie feels like this is something that should have came out in the early 2000s or something. I mean, still.
But since it's here and it's going to be here in 2020, let's just enjoy it.
And now we're going to move on to the last movie trailer that came out this week.
Last but not least. You know what? Screw that. Last and least.
Brandon was not happy with this one.
No. So, yeah, we have the new Spongebob movie. And what's the full name of the movie?
SpongeBob, Sponge Out of Water?
No, that was
that's
the second movie.
The second one.
Sponge on the Run.
Sponge on the Run.
Gary, I'm home. Gary. Gary! Gary's been snail napped. Gary!
So
You may be thinking, sponges don't even move. How could they be on the run? Is this trailer going to answer that? Yes, it actually does. Apparently, his pet snail Gary has gone missing, which is a plot from one of the episodes where an old lady kidnaps his snail, which was actually a very interesting and a low-key very terrifying notion. And then you see that the snails all died. There was like a closet full of snail shells. So not only was it a typical funny episode, but it had heart with SpongeBob looking for Gary. It had a lot of good jokes.
And the song "Gary Come Home,"
"Gary Come Home" is just iconic.
Yeah,
that is the SpongeBob song to cry to. But it also was a bit dark and interesting. We don't know who kidnaps Gary. All I know is I don't think this movie, which could be an hour and a half to 2 hours long, will have the same death as that one 22-minute episode.
Well, Steven Hillenburg probably worked on that 20, and he's not here, unfortunately, to work on this movie. Maybe he did work on it before he passed away, but only time will tell. Look, this is SpongeBob, okay? SpongeBob has to hold up some sort of standard.
He's been around for
20 years.
20 years, yeah. 1999 he first came about.
May 1st, 1999.
Wow.
I know, trust me.
Someone's a fan.
The
first thing that's jarring is the animation. They've had the same 2D animation for years, and they've, of course, improved on it because they're not going to have the same animation from 1999. But they had very solid, good 2D animation. And in the first movie that came out, I believe in 2004, they had that animation, and it looked good. And in the sequel, Sponge Out of Water, which came out, I'm thinking 2015, yeah. It was mostly that 2D animation and a little bit of live action sequences where they had CG for SpongeBob and Friends. And while I'm not really particularly a big fan of that movie, it's not the worst thing ever, and at least they stuck through with that animation. This one, you said it was sort of similar to the recent Peanuts Charlie Brown movie.
Yeah, it had the same kind of animation style as that.
Yeah, but it just seems like lazy for a company, and this goes for animated.
I think they've used this animation style on recent SpongeBob episodes too.
I know for like a Christmas special, maybe.
Yeah.
But they have this solid animation, and it's just kind of weird to go from two movies that had the same animation to now this generic CG animation that doesn't look flashy or impressive. Like, if you're gonna change animation, at least do something with it. This doesn't seem special. In fact, I'm just remembering the 2004 movie. It looked a lot better. Like, I cringed a lot from this and also the jokes.
There's something about the first SpongeBob movie that just is timeless. It looks so. Even today, it just holds up.
The thing
so
about
well.
2D animation, for the most part, it will hold up and stand the test of time. A lot of, especially like the Disney classics. I know I'm comparing Disney classics to SpongeBob, but the animation was good. And of course it had the good writing at the time, because SpongeBob early on had phenomenal writing.
The best.
Now it's just
the best.
It's a ghost. It's a shell. A snail shell of what it used to be. It's hollow like a sponge.
But getting back to this trailer, aside from what we know about SpongeBob and what we love about SpongeBob, this trailer doesn't seem to offer anything unique or interesting. Like I said, it's kind of recycling a formula from a previous episode. Right. The characters in the trailer don't really say anything too funny or too.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an animated comedy, and the only thing that made me laugh was a live action cameo from Keanu Reeves.
Hello. Call me Sage.
Good name.
I'm made out of sage and I am a sage, so it works out pretty well.
If you're gonna bring anyone on just to give an automatic laugh, you're gonna have Keanu Reeves. Like, there was a movie that came out years ago with Key and Peele called Keanu, about a cat named Keanu, and there was like a dream sequence where they got high or something, and Keanu Reeves voiced Keanu the cat, and that was funny because Keanu Reeves, he's a meme, he's a great person, we love him as John Wick, we just love to see him. So naturally you're gonna get a laugh, but that's a cheap laugh. Of course we love Keanu Reeves, but that doesn't mean your movie or your trailer is on par to even the Sonic movie. So with that all in mind, I don't give it my nonsense seal of approval. I don't think I ever will. hurt me, Scott.
I can't give it the nonsense seal of approval either. I want to say for a couple of reasons. One, because this seemed a lot more normal or serious than your regular SpongeBob nonsense. And SpongeBob's old-fashioned nonsense is fantastic. And two,
Just seemed like a basic plot.
this just seemed too basic. This just seemed, I don't know, I was turned off by it.
Well, I'd be more surprised if you were turned on by it, Scott. That'd be very shocking.
Sandy did not look as hot as she used to. I'll say
And
that.
having said that, now that we went through all the trailers, we gotta pick the zaniest, the most nonsensical. Scott, what was your favorite of the trailers?
Probably the Sonic trailer.
For me, it was definitely the Sonic trailer. I think, while it doesn't look like the Citizen Kane of kids' movies, it still did enough to please fans. The animation looks decent enough, looks fun, looks cute, and Jim Carrey really sends it above and beyond. And that's more I can say for SpongeBob and even Scoob. So if you want to hear more of us, we're on SoundCloud, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify. I'm sure I'm missing like 10 other things. We are everywhere. We have a website, nonsensenewsnation.com. That is sure as hell a thing. And we'll be back later in the month, November, I believe, 23rd on WGBB for more radio time at 2 p.m. So look forward to that. Once again, I've been Brandon Ellis.
And I've been Scott Honickman.
And this was Nonsense Reviews, signing off.